Hello, everybody, and welcome to our LinkedIn event tonight. Thank you so much for joining us on this Thursday evening. This is our last LinkedIn event of 2023, and we can't really believe it. So tonight we are focusing on the 5 skills to succeed as a locum in the optical industry. My name is Olivia, and I'm part of the marketing team here at Locum. And I am joined by Sammy, who is our locum success consultant in the optometry market. So tonight, Sammy and I will be taking you through a little bit of an agenda. So I'll be delivering our introduction to Locum for those of you who may not be aware of who we are or what we do. I'll be talking about how to get registered as a locum on the platform. We'll be talking about how to find locum shifts using the app. And then what we've all came here tonight for is our 5 tips to succeed as a locum optometrist. And then at the end, we'll have space then for our Q&A. So please feel free to use the comment section and post any of your questions, and we'll be able to answer them at the end of the event. So we'll just kick off right now. So here's a little introduction to Locum. So who are we and what are we? So Locum is an online platform in the form of a website and also our app that you can download via the App Store or Google Play. We connect locums with employers across the UK. We work within the pharmacy and optometry market, and we are currently used by over 37,000 locums are using the app to find locum shifts. So with that there being said, there are 8,000 pharmacies and opticians who use our app to post shifts. So it's almost like a marketplace. So they post the shifts and then you are able to search through and find shifts in your area. At any one stage on the platform, there are over 100,000 shifts live. So there are plenty for you to choose from, and you can make the app really personalized, to yourself. So there is a lot of features within the app that you can set, what rate, like what minimum shift rate that you want to see in the shifts that are available to you. And you can also set the radius of like how far you are willing to travel to for your locum shift. So with all of the variety of the shifts available, don't worry about searching through the 100,000 shifts, because you can make it really tailored to your experience based on your area and also then the rate that you would like to work for. So the app itself is very user friendly. We are the top rated locum app on the App Store and Google Play, and our development team are constantly improving the app and releasing new features to really support your locum journey and locum career. So that's a little overview of what Locum is. Whenever you start working with us, you will receive access then to our Level Up Rewards program. So what this is that whenever you complete your first shift with Locum, you'll receive a £50 welcome bonus and also access to our referral program. So the referral program means that if you refer another locum and they work their first shift, you will then both receive a £40 one for all voucher. And you can refer as many people as you like, and you will still receive that £40 voucher whenever you both have completed your first shift. So it's a nice little extra income. We've got some locums who, refer like maybe their uni friends or their colleagues. And like you can get a nice little lump sum then at the end of the month, on top of obviously your shift pay. So then as you move through the rewards program, so after 5 shifts, you'll receive a £5 coffee voucher from us. After 10 shifts, this is one of our most popular rewards. We'll actually reimburse the full cost of your enhanced police check. So this is typically around £65. So all you have to do to claim that reward is send us a copy of your receipt. And once we receive that, we're then able to process that claim for you. Then after 15 shifts, we'll provide £50 cash back towards your professional indemnity insurance. Again, all you have to do there is actually send us a copy of your latest renewal receipt, and then we're able to get that processed for you. And then after 20 shifts, you will gain access to Onzi. And Onzi is our partner discounts platform. So we've had amazing feedback from our locums who are already using Onzi. So you'll receive discounts on the likes of, fuel, and also if you have an electric vehicle, there's also discounts on electric charging points across the UK. Your groceries, tech, other high street retailers and like the likes of Just Eat, Deliveroo. So Onzy there's a lot of perks available, and you'll also receive like an Onzy reward card. So that gives you cash back whenever you make payments, so you can earn different cash back in different retailers. So there's some great savings available to you whenever you complete your 20 shifts. Then you'll get your own access to Onzy. So the rewards program, everything is there to really like give some little extra perks and sort of to cover the cost of becoming a locum in terms of your police check and the indemnity insurance. So if you've any questions or anything about the rewards, please feel free to like reach out to us and ask. It's myself and my colleague Sarah who look after the rewards program. So if anybody's any questions, like please do reach out to us via social media or just send us a little email via the website. And if you are looking to get registered with Locum, there are some essential documents that you need to become fully approved on the platform. So you will need your photographic ID in the form of your passport or your driver's license. You'll need your indemnity insurance, your enhanced police check, and then your GOC registration number. So you can upload all of these documents via the app, and then our in-house compliance team will then review your documents. And once you're approved, then you're able to start accessing the shifts that are available on the platform. So I'm going to pass you over now to Sammy, who's going to take you through the registration process for working with ASDA opticians.
Hi everyone, thanks for joining today. Like I said, my name is Sammy. I'm one of the consultants that work in Locum in the optical department. So with ASDA opticians being one of the biggest clients at the moment, you can kind of see on screen what's needed to register. Very similar to our own kind of compliance process and essential documents. You need a valid enhanced police check, whether that be a DBS if you're from England, your PVG if you're from Scotland, or your Access NI if you're from Northern Ireland, your indemnity insurance, photographic ID or right to work, and level 2 safeguarding, and 2 references from your previous employers or optometrists that you've worked with in the past in the past 3 years. Kind of pretty simple looking at it, but this does require you to go to the store as well just to have your documents verified. And if anyone there has completed their ASDA process, maybe struggling to get approved, please reach out to us. If you're registered with Locum, we can try and help in that regard. Okay, so on the screen here is just a quick preview of the app and really how easy it is to use. You can see once you've logged in on the main screen, you're shown all available shifts kind of in the area. Whatever your kind of default set radius is, can be from 40 to 5 miles up to all the way up to 80. If you want your search to be a bit more specific, you can see here you can go to an advanced filter that allows you to change your rate, how far you're willing to travel, which company you want to work for, what days of the week, what rate you would like. And this obviously will be standard and go across onto the search page, so it'll only show what you've selected there. And as easy as once you've found the right shift for you, really as easy as hitting apply, and on some companies instant book, so you don't need to go through that kind of admin process of waiting about.
Brilliant.
Okay, so coming on to our first step here, staying organized. Pretty self-explanatory, common knowledge, I'm sure you're all aware. But the Locum app, this can really help you stay organized with our diary feature, allowing you to kind of keep track of all your shifts in one place. You're able to see your earnings throughout the month. Manual shifts can be added for this as well. Any shifts that aren't booked internally on the Locum app, maybe you work in a different independent over the weekend. You can always add these shifts just so you can kind of keep track of all the income that you're making in the month. Being able to mark days that you're not available as well just means you won't get any unwanted calls by us on days you might be working, or you may just need a little break if you want to have the day off. And yeah, like I said before, if you are self-employed as a locum, so being able to keep track of those payments just for the end of your tax return is pretty helpful.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Sammy. Yeah, and so point 2 is that as a locum, your reputation really precedes you, so your reputation really matters. in the optometry community in the UK, it's quite a small industry. And I'd be surprised that sort of everybody does know each other or else know of each other. So as a locum, whenever you are traveling around the stores, it's always really important to leave a really positive impression on the person who has employed you for that day, and also with the team that you are working with throughout your shift. So one of our top tips that we hear all the time from our full-time experienced locums is to ring the store before your shift. Just for a quick 10-minute call to introduce yourself and explain that you will be, fulfilling the shift at the store perhaps the next day or in the next week or whatever the timeline might be. And just to introduce yourself and ask the optometry manager, if there's anything that they would like you to do, in particular if it's a certain patient that you're dealing with, or even to find out, what sort of workload that you'll be dealing with during your shift, so that you're, ready and well versed then for completing the tasks that you need to. It's also, useful to ask what systems that they will be using in the practice, and if there's anything that that they want you to sort in their absence. We have found that if perhaps you are unsure of what system is being used, that some employers are happy for you to go in before your shift and have a little quick overview of the system, just to make sure that you're fully comfortable using it on the day.
Okay, so just for our third step there, taking your time, obviously a big one. No one likes to be rushed. Taking time to so yeah, just taking your time to get prepared for the shift, really. Following on Olivia's last step, given that initial call, it might not be enough sometimes. So getting to introduce yourself at the store, if you're going to go in early a little bit, and that way you're actually able to familiarize yourself with the equipment in the store, the different processes, get to know the team a little more, who's working with you, if you did call on the day that you were booked or just before, they might not be the ones that are actually working on the day that you're booked in. So, getting to your shift early, making sure you're able to find your bearings and giving yourself time to get to know the team and the processes. And like I said, Olivia said before, we can always arrange a day or a time that you're able to go in for the store. Maybe if you don't have time on that day, a day, 2 days before you're actually booked into the shift, we can try and arrange you to go in, have a look around and get to meet the team there.
Brilliant, thank you. So our fourth point is, as you are self-employed, it's always really important to keep good records, and I think record taking is going to become your best friend whenever you are sort of managing yourself. So we've got 3 different types of records here that are essential that you sort of keep on top of. So the first one is your clinical record. So it's always really useful to keep track of what work that you have completed during your shift. Perhaps if you are moving on to a different branch, and maybe there's been a question raised by the permanent team, it's always useful to have in your notes something to look back on, that if you were dealing with a specific patient or something that came up during the appointment that you felt was important to note down. So it's always sort of good to keep a record of what's going on during the day, just if there's anything maybe that's an issue in the future. It's also good practice to leave some handover notes for the manager that'll be coming in the next day after your shift. So it sort of just gives a little brief breakdown of what you've completed, what you're working on during the shift, so that they're able to pick up and complete their tasks for that day if you're not going to be there. Also, so important to keep in track of your financial records. So as we discussed, before, so tracking your income, expenses, mileage, and any invoices or receipts that you will need for your self-assessment. So I know a lot of locums at the minute will be preparing for their self-assessment that needs to be filed before the end of January. So it's always good to sort of keep track throughout the year, so you're not chasing, or maybe your accountant isn't chasing, all of the receipts from during the year. So always good to keep all of those things on file.
Okay, so finally there, final one is stand your ground. Obviously it can seem a bit scary, but done to stand your ground in a place that you might be new in or maybe not fully familiar with. But it is important to obviously stand your ground as a locum. If a practice is, maybe not giving you enough time for testing, or if appointments maybe seem a little bit too close, so you can't have adequate time to actually perform your tests, and update all the records. It's always good to always just say and make sure you do. It is, at the end of the day, it is your fitness to practice that could be or that could come into question. So obviously the last thing you do is want a mistake because you feel rushed, and it's very important obviously to make sure of this beforehand. But if the time of things change during the shift, make sure you are standing up there and making sure you have the right time to perform all of your tasks adequately, and just obviously to the best of your ability.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so like just to support some of the points that we have mentioned, so some of the 5 skills. So we've got some free resources that will be available to you. So after the event, I will share this presentation with you, and all these links then that you can go and download. So an invoice template that you may have to leave, at the end of your shift. And also our expenses tracker is one of our most popular resources. It's sort of a good place. It's a large spreadsheet for you to keep track of all of your outgoings whenever you're working as a locum. So then it makes it a little bit easier for you then at the end of the year, as I mentioned, to pull all of your information together. We also got the link here then for our sign up to Lokia Locum. And then whenever you do work your first shift, you will receive your £50 welcome bonus. Sammy, maybe at this stage, would it be possible for you to tell everybody, what the role of the locum success consultant is? That whenever they do sign up to Lokia Locum, it'll either be yourself or Melissa, to be the point of contact. So could you tell everybody, what services you can provide to really support their career, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So, once you've went through kind of our compliance process, usually taken over by our compliance team, once they have your kind of approved, then, myself and my colleague Melissa and I, who are in the kind of optical department, take over. Here, we'll always reach out once your account has been approved, asking for your preferences of work, how far you're willing to travel, what rate you're kind of able to work at. And generally, what kind of stores or what kind of work you're interested in, whether you are interested in working with, some of the independents, or if you are working with one of the bigger guys like Asda, we're with you every step of the way to help you out with that, and finally get that first shift book so you can receive that £50 welcome bonus. And then, on top of that, up to 20 shifts, all the other rewards that we offer. Um, as well as that, if there are any help or if there are any questions in terms of payment or any registration process, really, for any of the companies that we have, we're more than welcome to help out. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to reach out and speak to either myself or Melissa in the consultant team there.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. If anybody has any questions or anything, please do feel free to post them in the comment section. Whenever you are just getting ready to type out your message. So there are some of our most frequently asked questions that Sammy and I are going to cover, and that always tend to come up at the end of our event. So maybe the first one that we'll tackle is who sets the rates on Lokia Locum? It's always one that we're asked online, and it's a very fair question. So Lokia Locum's rates are set by our employers. So we have no control over what rates are posted on the platform. As I said before, we are a marketplace. So it's a good way, maybe to compare it to the likes of Deliveroo and Uber, so there are different rates that are set by different companies. And, we take, no involvement in that there. So it's always, I think, people may think that we do, but we just want to reassure we don't set the rates, and also we don't take any commission for the rates of pay that you earn. So there's no commission fees or anything. So you get 100% of the amount that is advertised on the platform. Something that has come up a couple of times, people maybe thought that we take a percentage of it, but we don't. So it all goes into your pocket, and you're able to track all of your incomings via the diary feature that Sammy mentioned. It'll show you what your total income is for the month and per shift. So it's a good way to keep sort of visibility of everything coming in. Sammy, would you have anything to add to that there?
No, all sounds good. Kind of hit it on the other, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
It's not really us to set the rate, it's fully on them there.
Yeah, perfect. Another one, like whenever we're on the rates, is a lot of time we're asked, can you negotiate on Locum? And the answer is yes for certain shifts. So again, it's at the discretion of the employer to utilise the negotiate feature. So there are some shifts that you're able to negotiate, and then you're able to input, your preferred rate via the app. It's also, if you wanted to maybe negotiate, Sammy, correct me if I'm wrong, but perhaps maybe you and Melissa can do so on the behalf of a locum, can you?
Yeah, so maybe there, if you do see a shift that isn't negotiable, definitely feel free to reach out to myself or Melissa. Even though a shift is not available, maybe it might be a case of changing the times if you're going to get there a bit later due to travel or childcare, or need to leave a little earlier. Definitely get in contact. We can message the appropriate company there, and see if we can get that negotiated on your behalf, whether it be rate or time or whatever, really.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much. And then some of our other questions. So we were asked this in one of our last optical events, and it's a really, really fair question. So what does it mean to be represented by Lokia Locum? So Sammy, can you shed some more light on what that actually means for the locums?
Yeah, so being represented by Located Locum really means you have access to all of our features and support. If you In the opposite side, if you are direct, you go directly to, say, for example, just Asda. If you're direct, we can't really help you in terms of payment or anything else. In terms of negotiating shifts, if you are direct, does mean you do go directly to them. Being LAL represented, you have full access to all of our staff members, really. Melissa, myself, Jill, anyone in compliance or admin team, we're able to help, and also means you're able to collect those benefits and rewards, that Olivia had mentioned previously in the call there.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much for summing that up. And then our last question that, is a common one. So, perhaps some locums sometimes can't see shifts from the employers that we say, advertise on the platform. So, I think one of our last locums asked, like, why can't I see certain shifts from, say, as opticians? So, Sammy, could you give a little bit of background into maybe why some shifts aren't visible on the locum side?
Yeah, so depending really on how you've signed up, if you were invited via a link through a company, if you work directly with a company and you're able to see one or two companies, you'll definitely get in touch. Really, we'll need to just double check on your account just to see how it is on that side, and if it's possible, we should be able to change things over. If you are only able to see one, yeah, definitely get in touch. Obviously, if you are interested in working with the other ones that we have on the platform.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. I think that's it. I don't see any questions just coming through. So that does tend to be maybe four of the main ones that, does come up time and again at our events. If there are any other questions, like please feel free to reach out to myself or Sammy. Our email address is info@lokialocum.com. Or you can reach out to us via social media, and we'll always be there to pick up any of your questions or queries. Just to confirm, tomorrow you will receive this recording via email, and I'll also include the links into those resources, being our invoice tracker and the invoice template, and the expenses tracker. I think I put them into one there. So you'll receive those two links, and then also then the link to sign up to Lokia Locum, that's free to access your £50 welcome bonus. And don't forget then about Level Up Rewards and also our referral program then too. But there's no other questions coming through. I don't think anything is. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on this Thursday evening. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. And again, any questions, always please do get in contact with us. So thank you so much. And thank you, Sammy.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everyone.
Okay, thanks. Have a good evening.